Alright, good evening everyone. System Chalk here with the 54th episode of our first run through Book of Hours on YouTube. I am a lot better informed about where we were on the playthrough, so if memory serves, the last item that we inspected would be as above so below. I don't recall if I can look at the mirror scope, but we will have Thomas's observatory to look at. And then at that point I guess I need to make a decision in terms of whether or not I want to inspect what I can in sort of the winter tower, the long tower I guess it's called, and obviously from there we'd pursue some investigations through the rest of the house. But it's also fair to say that this Faust is actually something that I can use. So one calculation I might want to do: what does it take to read the Alloy of White Rose? So we've got 2 from the Faust. I suppose it would be Auroral Contemplation, so that brings us up to 5. And a tool brings us up to 6, so we get 8 with memory. So definitely not enough to read on its own. Although again, once spring comes, we're more likely to get sunny days, and all of a sudden a revelation and a sunny day seems like a much better deal. But I'm not in a rush to get the Faust as opposed to other upgrades. Now let's take a quick look, because I seem to recall some of the Noctex were considerably easier than I was giving them credit for. So we've got an Almanac of Entrances. Let's start with that one. We have 10 knock that we need. We get 2 from Shapt. That becomes 6 with Edict's Liminal. Nope, that's 7 with Door and Wall, actually. So we're at 7 with Door and Wall. Memory would take us up to 9. Okay, so we're actually still 1 short because we don't have a knock tool. So not quite as exciting as that was before. Commandments for the preservation of all that exists. That would be drums and dances is our highest heart, it looks like. So that's 5, 7, 11. Right, we were waiting for a storm on that one. So it seems like I'm basically looking to catch a break on the weather for most of these things. Although that doesn't mean... it was the Perniculate that had the scale I was looking for. That doesn't mean there aren't other things that I can be doing. So, for instance, I will probably try reading the scale text. I think what I will wind up doing, though, is maybe waiting until we see what the weather is, and at that point we can decide what our best course of action would be. Sadly, I don't have any place to put this Dear lens, so maybe we'll just safely put that in the foundry, because that's where one keeps delicate lenses. And then Thyrsa's Cordials can go with the alchemy stuff for now. And the Tisane, I believe we already have our Librarian's Tisane, so we'll put that... looks like we got one of those already on the... Put that by the wine then. Okay. So, let's see what we can do with the day. I should probably be trying to make some use of my Faust. Well, let's investigate items. So the mirror scope, that may require a... Yes, okay. So we'll move up to Kitty's armchair. And then, of course, we'll see what the day brings. Memory's fade, assistance departs, but the soul is refreshed. I'm going to use the core to do the manual labor here. There's not much work on offer in Brandkrug, but I can find 6 pence worth of odd jobs. So the idea here is just that I can earn some money doing this, we can spend the money to restore it, and I'm not denying myself the option of doing something with it later, so I can use the Arab, for instance. But let's wait and see what the weather is first. Okay, so hail is an interesting one. I don't think we're going to be able to push it over the edge for Book of True Blood, but it is one that I want to look at the possibility for. So let's, just playing around here, let's say Book of True Blood, we add the hail, our best edge, Sickle and Eclipse probably. And I suppose in an absolute pinch, I could add the Perniculate, but that's a little weak. Okay, so the best I can do is 12. Now that actually seems worth taking. So I guess the question is, where can I get the edge from my books? I guess it would just be one of these. Okay, well, we'll work with what we've been given. I'll use the Arab to start. I don't really see a need to bring in Mrs. Kill with this. In fact, I should probably at this point be thinking a little bit about how I'm going to get to the next few rooms. Probably... Yeah, you know what? I think it's high time we made another Solomon's Preparation. So that'll be what we use the whist for. But yeah, let's get the relevant memory first. So for that, let's read those indignities perpetrated by the deceitful fraternity of Obliviates, because it's just so darn fun to read. Okay. This does also invite some questions in terms of what I want to do with the rest of my memories here. So let's just take a minute and think. So I could also just try and read one of... Yeah, you know what? Let's try reading the scale text as well. So first thing we're going to do is read Wrapped in the King. And we'll use Fet for... No, actually it's better to use Shapt in this case, because Shapt doesn't really get me anything today. Other than money, but we can get money elsewhere. Okay, so Wrapped in the King. I've already mastered this, but I could reread it and perhaps recall a memory. And again, I'm debating on whether I use Trist and Fet for the Crowcar Sands and the Moon and the Moor, just because I'm not quite as crowded in terms of things in this playthrough as on my stream one. But as always, the question is this the best thing I can be doing with my time? The other option I should have mentioned, by the way, was Demotu Corporum Veditorum. One of the arguments against that, though, is that the Faust is currently spoken for, so I don't necessarily want to create some complications. There's basically other things that I can do with that hail right now. Okay, Kitty's armchair. This looks like this looks very like the armchair in which Kitty Mazarine, second librarian, sat for El Breton's famous group portrait. Kitty Mazarine, the story goes, napped in an armchair and dreamt of mirrors. She woke to find herself humming an unknown melody. That melody became her fuguing tune, 30 Birds. If this really is that armchair, it's a little bit of history. I feel like I read that, but I might have read that elsewhere. Now, do we have Kitty? Because yeah, she's already in the... Okay. So, let's keep using the Fascinated Faust to investigate items in the house. The catch here is I don't think any of these will take it, although I have been reading the descriptions of the rooms as well. So, the Watchman's Tower Observatory, Thomas de Wolf, 2nd Baron Brandkrug, who they called Baron Silence, built this observatory in 1576 by happy coincidence just in time to observe the passage of the Great Comet in 1577. And then when it comes to this area, all of the stuff will get consumed if I examine it, so we're really up to the foundation of the sun. Investigate this object. You won't use this up or consume it by doing this. So we need to wait a minute to get the relevant memory first, and then we can proceed. I've carried a memory like a flambeau safe through the mazes of night. This will complete once dawn has come. So I don't have an immediate use for it right now. Just to give you an example of how I might use it in future. This one doesn't use hearts, so it would have to be Tan's desk. So Nin's Cages is a terrible example of that. Commandments for preservation of all that exists. Core, drums and dances, I think we said was the best. Underskin, this one also needed Mandiac, which doesn't have heart. And then the next best that I could do would be to throw the kitchen bowls. So that gives us 12 of the 14. So we wind up with a gale, we wind up with a storm, we're great. but I do need the weather just to give me a little bit of an edge. Okay, the tapestry ripples very slowly. Even in still air, candle flames bend towards it. Now, it did just occur to me, I may actually want to keep the Arab, had I been thinking. I will take the risk now, I think. Might have been better to think about that earlier, but in this case, we'll run the risk with what we've already got. I did not pay attention to that nearly as much as I should. Sorry, I don't want to read that again. I got distracted by what I was trying to, what my future plan was. So yeah, I'm gonna get the core back. We'll probably use it for gardening, but I do want to have some kind of cycle of earning, just because I don't have a whole lot else that I want to do with the day. Although I should also get a winter memory at this point. All right, those indignities perpetrated by the deceitful fraternity of Obliviates. It is not clear whether CROD, who is identified only by his initials, was in fact an initiate of the Obliviate Order of Immortal Adepts. He wrote in the 16th century, after the order, if he is to be believed, had passed the height of its power. 58, that they did claim inheritance from the traditions of the House of Leith, but that they have disregarded both its most sacred and most beautiful ceremonies when they are not found convenient. 59. 71. The Glassfinger toxin is no mere assassin's convenience for the Oblividiots to confine the disposal confine to the disposal of their enemies. It has higher uses. Certainly, it is a great matter of winter, but I have already outlined the technique by which it may be fitted for its ultimate destiny. Okay, so there is one thing I could have done to make this a little bit easier for myself, but let's run ahead. So we're going to use the contradiction here. We'll add sickle and eclipse. We will add the cucurbit barrette. Then attach the book. So this is Book of True Blood. So in this case, we've got... whoa! What did I think I was accomplishing by doing this? Oh, yes. Okay. I remember where I went wrong. Okay. So I am still going to try and do this. I am, however, going to need to rearrange... God, this is actually a very risky move that I'm doing. I am going to renew the Arab, though. Okay. So let's use the Fet to... Oh, we've got our Earth sign. Dances draw from the tradition... Or, sorry, we've read this a few times, so I'll actually skip ahead. Okay. I'm going to change the order a little bit. So we're recovering the core right now. I am going to grab another earth sign. Yes. Actually, you know what? The 1 minute's still fine, so... So was it Hill and Hollow was my best? Yikes. Okay, so we'll try the Hissing Key. So perhaps you provided scale, but not enough to match mystery scale. If you're lucky, you might still succeed. So the aim here is going to be to use the memory from De Ratio Quercum to win out. basically, unless I'm waiting for a meteorite to strike Hush House, I don't think we're going to get any scale weather. Now, I do want to make Solomon's Preparation. If memory serves, though, I think I needed a little something extra. So if I take the whist... the flowers... Okay, clearly sights and sensations didn't do the trick. I'm pretty sure sights and sensations should be able to do this. One way or the other, though. I'm at 7. So I need to find 3 okay, well, 3 winters not that hard to get. So clearly I'm not actually using that. But sights and sensations, yeah, that does give me, okay. But that's still 7. Right. Okay. So yeah, it's the Isle Water and a memory that's gonna do it. So let's take actually hang on, the sand might sand has moon. Okay. So let's go, I'll use the Fete to get myself something wintry. Oop. Should be Natan's desk to use that with. Okay, so we'll use, I think we'll get another regret in this case on the white. So I've already mastered this, but I could reread it and perhaps recall the memory. I think I will preemptively use the core to drop another pitcher of water because I think I'm going to be drawing on that quite a bit. Pour out. And yeah, I'm going to leave it there. So the whist is spoken for, the Arab's going to be spoken for, and I'll be restoring this one. So the tryst I may or may not use. Pour it out. Actually, let's make a decision here. I am going to go to Crowcross Sands with the tryst. What has the sea seeded today? But yeah, so a little bit of a lumpy day, but we'll still make this happen. So essentially, the reason why I want to get this Arab back is because I very often get the, add another element of the soul item. Now, because I've been spending so much time on the, because I've been spending so much time on the don't commit stuff to the Tree of Wisdom's approach during the stream, I kind of ignore when that happens, but as it is, I am in a situation where this can actually be very helpful. So it is definitely it is quite an ambitious attempt in on this run. Like I'm essentially trying to rely on 2 of the 3 memories kind of going my way, but I still think it's worth it to try in this case. So. But yeah, so I got the text here. The tapestry ripples very slowly, even in still air. Candle flames bend towards it, but I didn't read. The foundation of the sun. Long ago in this country, one did not build a church without first sacrificing a white bull to the sun in rags. Solomon Husher brought this tapestry with him from, well, wherever it was that Solomon came from. So there's my site. That concludes the Long Tower, Solomon's quarters, generally reckoned to be the chilliest room of the house. The Long Tower was usually called the Winter Tower until Julian Cosley, Magus Epistler, reputed Long, dwelt here briefly in the 17th century. Solomon Husher was the second known to sleep in this room. Evidently, they didn't mind the cold. Now, I would like, if I can, to try and get something like the Rite of Torg's Cleansing, but I think I'm coming up short. Well, second, an eclipse might be able to do something. Libidic tincture, huh? There might be something I can do with this. So let's go Sickle and Eclipse. So Sickle and Eclipse with Prentice level edge creates Libidic Tincture, or Scholar level edge plus something with the leaf aspect will brew me a dangerous ink. So I do want to follow up on that leaf aspect side of things. But yeah, focus my own internal resources to create a small quantity of a stable edge ingredient. So I have an idea here. In fact, probably should have just used what I already had, but so we combine that with Auroral Contemplations, but then I can't add a tool. Shucks. There's some possibilities. I don't know. Let's work with. We'll work within what I've currently been given. But I probably at this point should be playing around with Solomon's preparation anyway. So let's take that whist. We'll add inks of containment. We'll add the glass of water. We will add the flowers. These count as leaves? No. Did I forget the memory? I think I did. Alright, I think I'm just going to declare Chapter 11 on today and try again later. Oh no, I think this is the one. Okay, better now. So I've got the core back. I actually think harvesting some vegetables would be a good idea here. So we'll use the core for that. The gardens of Hush House hold plants with many virtues for those with the wisdom to recognize them. Okay, so this one, as long as it's not using up any scale that I need. So I do want to restore this Arab before I do anything else. We're going to be very late in the day. All right, opportunities, there's still a chance. So this will use memory. Okay, we're good. We've at least got this one down. And in fact, we can get the 1 minute rolling now. Ooh, I feel really uncomfortable doing this. Oh, but I used up my Sickle and Eclipse, so I've got 20 seconds. All right, De Ratio Quercum. In English, the title translates roughly as The Account of the Oaks, but this is Nathaniel Darcy Evers' fascinating, if haphazard, survey of the occult properties of every tree he can find, not just oaks. In Persia, Taxus baccata, the yew is called Sorkdar, which is the red tree. There they had long understood the grail root. In later times, the great king of Pontus had beehives set in its branches of the oldest of the female trees. The berries of the Pontine yew open the door to death, but the honey of their flowers opens a different door entirely. This was not the great king's Mithridate, but one who has suckled at the great yew fears poison no longer. Perhaps they should. Nathaniel is here distracted, however, by the toxic properties of certain inks. He does mention, more usefully, that the minor ink of power, Ugol, can be brewed through the rites of the roots with the assistance of the aspect nectar. Okay, so that secured me the scale text that I was working with. On the white, Solomon Husher writes, perhaps allegorically, of winter and its long, slow, doomed romance with the sun. The epigraph is sunset at noon. On closer investigation, the work seems to be a theory of aesthetics, or perhaps a set of warnings about the dangers of painting. Husher writes distractedly about his suspicion of colors and his yearning for death. He hints at a great work he has envisaged or begun, where the palest of paintings will enthrall the world. He returns again and again to certain compelling phrases which he claims are the secret words of winter. So that should secure the Solomon's preparation, finally. Muddle and mix a wintry preparation. Yeah, we'll give it a few more seconds, and I will make a ill-advised attempt at the high edge text. Okay, as it clarifies, the tincture vibrates judderingly. This is called growling. A much more potent preparation can be extracted from the remains of a labite, but labites generally frown on this technique. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do first. Let's see, I did not think any of this through. Yeah, so that's a non-starter. That doesn't work. So my only real hope here is the dispensary, but I don't have the elements of the soul that are relevant here. So, yeah, doesn't. There was like half an idea there, but I didn't. I couldn't bring it the whole way through, I don't think. So the dispensary doesn't work because I can't add the Fost. The desk doesn't work because I couldn't add the tincture. What about the found? Ah, nope. That's funny. So it counts as a material, but Foundry doesn't like materials. Okay. There is maybe one thing that I could do, but I don't really know if I don't know if I care that much to make it happen. What I'm really trying to do here is Rite of Torg's cleansing so that I can get another edge memory in time for in time for the attempt. But you know what? Let's see what happens. So we'll take Sickle and Eclipse. We'll take the Contradiction. We will add the Book of True Blood. We will also add the Cucurbit Barrette. So Forge of Contention. Perhaps you provided edge, but not enough to match Mystery Edge. If you're lucky, you might still succeed. So I have the other Arab coming in 30 seconds. If I think I have a clever idea about how to get some extra edge, this is the time. I need to keep an eye on what's going on here because I'm about to miss the memory. Yeah, I think we'll just take the loss. Okay, that's not weather. Hey, mackerel! Eat it while it's fresh or keep it while it's salted. A little water splashes on the stones of the well to nourish the mosses there. Okay, so that gets me the scale that I needed. And let's see if we can make some magic happen with the shaft. This is really just so I can make a little bit of money today. We'll put the mackerel in the kitchen. There's no, or not the kitchen, the pantry. There's not a whole lot I need to do with it. And I am curious about what memories I'm going to need before I invest too much in the next before I start using my fascinated Faust. I do actually want to see what I'm going to need from the hissing key. So the hissing key, an account of the ascent of the hour called the Mother of Ants by the Bosque scholar Mek of the Theban branch of the House of Leith. Mek is not sympathetic to the Mother of Ants, who he calls the milk thief. He reviles her for her part in the death of the 7 coils, which he presents as a treacherous conspiracy. The milk thief conspires with the Legion Echidna and the hour-to-be called Chiliarch, now more generally rendered as Colonel, to unseam the 7 coils with feathers and drown her in salt. The Colonel thus ascends to hour status. The jealous milk thief, once the Colonel's priestess, seduces Echidna into lending her the hissing key to enter the Mansis through the savage door, beginning her own ascent to name and ultimately hour. Okay, so we get a hindsight from that. I will add it to the relevant section. Serpents and venoms, so that's going to involve a bit of work. And I don't think I can take that through through Dream with me. Okay. Oh, actually. I was originally going to use this to make money, but I think instead I can level up Serpents and Venoms because it's a level 1. Okay, I'll take that. Let's see how this one turned out. Art, it's educational, so 2 of those and Ubi Sunt, so I don't think Ubi Sunt is going to help me. And there's no way I have 2 Edge 2 art items. Like, I'll check, but that would be fairly incredible. I think Hendrik de Wolf has Edge, right? Now, the busts don't count as art, so that's not going to work. Well, hang on, there might be something here. Aha! Alright, the practice swords. I cannot believe that actually turned out. Stack of vegetables, stew in waiting. Carrots, tomatoes, marrows, and blessed onions. All the unsung heroes of the stew pot. So I am at time, so I did want to try and finish off the day, but in this case, I think it's better for me to deal with all of the sort of the follow-up for the day. I think it's just better to handle that in tomorrow's episode. So overall, though, like I said, it was definitely a weird day. I stumbled on a bunch of things and it just wound up being done in an unusual way, but we actually did okay in terms of outcomes. So we're definitely going to complete this book. We're going to complete it at the end of the day, so I'm probably going to lose whatever the memory was. But we managed to level up Serpents and Venoms using the hindsight. I'll probably also be able to use the Fascinated Faust to make something with the hail. And yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's a weird one, but not a terrible outcome to the day either. So, but I will, like I said, I will deal with the rest of this in tomorrow's episode, I think, because I am trying to keep these run times a little bit more reasonable. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care.